Hi, everyone. Professor Jones. I'm recording on Zoom, just so you know. Camera's facing me. I don't think it's facing you, but feel free to ask questions and shit. This is being recorded so that if anyone misses class, you won't miss lecture. And if you feel sick, you can also join class over Zoom. You can obviously do this even if you're not sick, but I don't encourage that. I encourage showing up. You will find that showing up makes it much more likely that you'll pay attention and not turn to your phone and start chatting with your friends or watching TikTok or all sorts of shit that you're going to do. By being here, you kind of tend to pay attention. But it is available. In fact, on our base screen, you can see Hefe's Zoom room. I am Hefe. I'll tell you where I got the name in a little bit. We're going to go over all this today, but I thought I'd start you off with getting to know a little bit about me. I have found that if students know about me, they feel more comfortable in this class. And like a lot of students fucking hate mathematics. It really sucks. Like some people think I'm the devil. Well, you know, I'm one of the devil's minions. Who likes math enough to get a goddamn degree in it? That's some sick shit in a lot of people's heads. If I cuss too much for you, let me know. I will try to tone it down, but I ain't making any promises. Presumably you're all adults in here, and I know I'm not going to use any words you've never heard before. Even if you're in high school, you've heard words. So that's me. Professor Hefe, David Jones. Yes, that's the NASA logo. I have worked at NASA, and I got my work there a couple summers while I was going to school. And it all started here at COS. This shirt is where it started at COS. I am an alumni at COS. I was here from 2000, I want to say 8, where I was just taking evening classes, working the day, doing accounting in Fresno, and taking evening classes. Eventually, I want to be a math major, and all the classes were during the day. So I quit my day job, came here, but during the final semester I was here, NASA had a community college. They've just started their aerospace scholar program for community college students. And the engineering teacher was telling all the people in the Mesa Center about it. I'll let you guys know about the Mesa Center in a little bit. And I was the only one that applied for it, and the only one that did it. I was a math major. I hung out with engineering students, but none of them fucking did it. And I went and had a fucking time of my life doing it. And it led to internships and all sorts of things. In fact, I have a tour arranged for NASA Ames Research Center. Sometimes I want to say it's in April, and it's going to be through the MESA program. We're still getting the bus and stuff for students to go tour one of the facilities. So that's me. That was when I was a student here. I'm a dog person. I don't have anything against cats. Like, cats are fine. Other people's cats are great. I don't want one. I like my pet to worship me. I want my pet to actually come to the fucking door and be excited to see me when I get home. Because a good dog will make even the worst day fucking great. They're just waiting for you. Like, they wait all day to see you, and nothing is better than you walking through the door and you see it in their fucking face. That's my boy. That's my current dog. His name's Lunar. That was the left picture is the day we got him. And that other picture, he's only a year and like 3 or 4 months old. The other picture is like 7 or 8 months. He looks a little bit older now, but he's a Maltese. He's like 6 pounds. He's fucking adorable as fuck. I love that boy. And his name's Lunar. I like superhero shit. I like Marvel over DC. DC had some shitty movies for a while. Like the first couple original Supermans, I'm talking like Christopher Reeve, those were good. I like those. And then we got Brandon Routh for Superman, and that was terrible. But then recently, DC's been up in its game. Wonder Woman has been great.
They're trying, yeah.
Yeah, Aquaman's been pretty good. Marvel, they've all been good. Iron Man's my favorite. And Star-Lord's pretty good. Captain America, he's a putz. Dude, he fucking throws around a metal frisbee. That's not all that exciting. That's all he does. Doesn't do anything else. And he had to take drugs to get where he's at. Nothing great. Black Widow, she's super hot. And I love Groot. Groot's fucking great. I don't necessarily like just the good guys. I like the bad guys too. If you haven't seen The Boys are like DC heroes in what they would do in real life. Like if you had superpowers and you were like Superman, you would more than likely not be fucking heroic. And that's Homelander, etc. I'm waiting for the next season of that to start up. I don't know. With that fucking shutdown of the TV shows for a while, everything got put behind, but I love The Boys. Don't watch it with kids. You've been warned. It's on Amazon. So I like The Big Bang Theory. I know it's not on anymore. I didn't watch it for like 3 years or something like that. And someone, like a bunch of people kind of like, have you watched it? Have you watched it? Have you watched it? I'm like, no. And someone's like, dude, you're like one of the characters on it. You should watch it. And I finally gave it a try, and then I binge watched it. Like, and so that was when I was in North Carolina, doing research one summer. And when I got home, I made my wife binge watch it and get caught up with me. And then we would sing the fucking the theme song as it started up every time. I love that show. I like comedies a lot. This is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I like The Office. I like 30 Rock. I like all sorts of comedies. The Neighborhood is on right now. That's fucking pretty funny. If you haven't seen, I don't know what this is on. What We Do in the Shadows is fucking phenomenal.
FX.
It's a FX. I think I watch it on Netflix.
Hulu.
Is it Hulu? Oh my goodness. They're all vampires, except one of them is not a vampire. It's one of the vampire's minions. And it's how vampires would act if they're trying to live in modern times and they're not fucking modern. And how it would really go rather than everybody being like, oh, we turned modern real quick. No, it's hilarious. I like What We Do in the Shadows a lot. This was my Kindle report this year. 57 fucking titles read in 2023. Holy shit. I read a lot when I was a teenager growing up. And then when I was, for a little while, I didn't read a whole lot. I played video games, do other stuff. And my mom passed away, not last year, but the year before. But before she did, she liked to read a lot. So I got her Kindle Unlimited on my Kindle and just like bought her a Kindle where it was linked to my account. And the last month when she passed away, there was still time left. I'm like, I'll use it until a good time's up. And then I'm enjoying this shit. I read like 2 to 3 hours a night every day. Days in a row. I missed fucking one day last year. And it's because we were driving to Washington to see my wife's friend. And I didn't pull out the Kindle because I was fucking tired from driving. Oh, I'm going way too fast. So I like to read. I prefer fantasy, some sci-fi. That's one of my favorite series right now. Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's on Kindle. The audiobook is probably better. It's about if the world was taken over by aliens and you all got thrown into like a video game. So it's kind of like Ready Player One, but like not voluntary. Like the people that are playing Ready Player One are like in it to win a prize. No, like the aliens have taken over and you're like, you could choose to go in this dungeon and survive. And it's really fun. This cat starts talking after about chapter 6, and she's a show cat. And she's a stuck-up little bitch. And she thinks he is her pet. And it's just fucking great. And the audio is fantastic. I love it. It's called Lit RPG. It's based on role-playing games. For a while, you could see how they level up and stuff like that. Does anyone know what this is? This is really old. It's World of Warcraft. This is the Lich King. I played World of Warcraft a lot, even as a student. My fucking weekends were playing World of Warcraft. This wasn't out yet. It was vanilla. It was the very first edition. Back then, you played with other people online, and you could get like up to 40 people together going into a dungeon. And Zoom wasn't a thing, but audio. You could do like audio with headsets and talk to the other people. And so we'd have like 40 people doing it. And at least 20% were fucking high as a kite. You knew they were because they let you know that they were starting to get high by holding down the mic as they hit their bong. So you hit the fucking bong gurgle going on, and you're like, ah, fuck, Jimmy's getting high. But I ended up being raid leader for that, for Molten Core. It's one of the first dungeons. The first weekend when we went in there, we spent 8 hours and we didn't get past the guy at the fucking door, the fucking bouncer. He just killed us for 8 hours fucking straight. And we did not get discouraged. Within 6 months, we had the entire dungeon down to 2 hours. And I was the leader of it. And it was a lot of fun. But we would spend that time. It was like Saturdays. I had a roommate tell me, you shouldn't be playing video games. You're going to school. I said, I'm a smart student. I did my fucking homework already. Leave me the fuck alone. This is sustainability based. It's at NASA Ames Research Center down in near San Jose. It's in Mountain View, but it's near San Jose, California. I interned here one summer. Well, I interned at Ames a couple summers. The first time I interned there was at the sustainability base. It's like a moon base, but the windows open up. But it like generates all of its own electricity. It recycles like 98% of its water. And it's probably higher than that. This was several years ago when I was an undergrad. So it probably has a higher recycle rate than that. It was really neat. It had sensors all over the building to detect heat, the temperature, and wind flow. And there was no AC in that motherfucker. The building would open the windows on its own, depending on where the wind was coming from, so that the right amount of breeze would flow through the building and keep it at a nice fucking room temperature. That was neat as hell. The building monitored itself, but it's scary as fuck when you're back to the window and all of a sudden you're like the motor for the window opener was like atrocious. They used like some old shit for the motors. So it scared the hell out of you every time it did it, even when you knew it was like, oh, it's probably that time of day. But I got there, I interned there when I started when I was a COS student. And I applied. I was a math student, and like I didn't think I was going to get in. They had, what leadership skills do you have? And I couldn't think of any, which is why that got put on there. I was a raid leader, and like I got to put something. And if there's anywhere in the world that has a bunch of fucking nerds that can appreciate this thing, NASA's got them. And there wasn't a lot of math people there, but I was one of them. So I don't know that it was mentioning World of Warcraft, but I think it was. So there I was helping the building learn. We would monitor the electrical output of all these sockets and make sure that like everything was turning off when it should. Nothing was pulling more juice than necessary. Like someone left the copy pot on overnight. One of the printers wasn't shutting down, or the copiers wasn't shutting down after 5 minutes like it was supposed to, and it kept pulling electricity. So we found it and like reprogrammed shit to turn stuff off. Ended up saving some money. It was a neat thing. I learned a lot of different computer programs at that time because I didn't know any of them. The next summer I worked there was in the aeromechanics branch. Which governs flight, not just space shuttle flight, but like helicopters and airplanes and stuff like that. Ames Research Center has a giant wind tunnel. It's 80 feet by 120 feet. The doors on the side open up and they can pick up a Boeing 747 with a crane and put it in there. And they got fans that are literally, like one fan is like the size of that fucking wall. And it's all along, like the entire end of the thing is filled with these fans to generate wind and simulate flight. And then have little tiny little metal things come up that lets out smoke, and they can see how the smoke hit the plane, how it hit the, how it moved and stuff. That got pretty pricey. Yeah, as you can imagine, it takes a lot of work and energy and time to fucking lift up an airplane. And so I was working on simulating that in a computer. This is a helicopter blade. It's called airfoil. And depending on the curvature, they're teardrop shaped. They don't look that way, but they tend to have a little bit of curvature. Some have more curvature than others. And like normally it hits the wind sideways like this, but you can tip the angle that it hits it at. So as this thing tips, the way the wind's hitting it, sometimes it's hitting it more to give it a lot of lift, and some angles is causing more drag than lift. And we were choosing the optimal angle and curvature to like maximize the lift and minimize the drag so that helicopters could fly more efficiently. That was one of the neatest places I've ever worked. It wasn't most exciting what I was doing. I was working with a supercomputer there, and it would take a couple hours for it to run. And so I was sitting there, all the other students there, all the other interns were like engineering. I'd go help them on their shit. They'd ask me math stuff, like basic math stuff, stuff they had to have known and like just forgot. And so I'd watch them and help them and stuff, but they had simulators. We got to tour different shit all the time. I am arranging a field trip this semester through the MESA Center. MESA stands for Math, Engineering, Science Achievement. I want to say there's an office upstairs for it. The main one is over on the Visalia campus in the John Muir building in the northwest corner. When you walk in like a building, there's signs for MESA Center. And I think we're doing it in beginning, it's right around spring break. I want to say it's the week before spring break or the week after, but there's a solar event and a solar eclipse in April that the people at NASA, a lot of them are going to go to. So I'll find out what week it is. I'll let you guys know. If you're interested, you want to go explore NASA, there'll be a sign-up sheet. You do have to be a citizen. They don't let non-citizens in. And we'll have a limited number of seats on the bus, but I'll let you know as that comes around. That's from me working there as an intern for a couple semesters, maintaining those contacts. The dude in the aeromechanics branch, the head of it, his name was Bill. My personal email back at the time was Windhammer, because it was a video game character name. And like, my name's David Jones. It's really fucking common. Like, I went to high school with another David Jones. They like fucked up I got all his English essays and he got mine. I got the benefit of that one because he fucking wrote better than me. But like, I got a really common name. In fact, that's why you'll see a lot of shit that says Professor Hefe. Because if you look up Professor Jones, there's a lot of fucking Professor Joneses. Thousands. There's probably even 1,000 Professor David Joneses. But if you look up Professor Hefe, there's only one. Hefe, I got the name from my time at NASA. When I worked there, I met on day one another student. He was from Puerto Rico, and his kids were with him, and we were both staying in the same hotel. We didn't stay on campus. And so he was in a wheelchair and I was driving him. We dropped off his kids at daycare. And after a while, he started calling me Hefe. And I thought, dude, fuck you, dude. And he's like, what? Hefe's a good name. It means boss. And I'm like, it sounds like heifer. It sounds like you call me cow. And I didn't believe him for the longest time. You'd think I would have fucking looked it up. But I didn't look it up. Because every time he said it, he'd fucking smirk. He'd laugh, give a little chuckle. Probably because the way I responded to it. So I didn't think I finally found out, it means boss. But I adopted it. It's a fun story. So I worked there a couple summers. This summer was my first year of grad school. From here, when I left COS, I transferred to UC Merced, where I got a 4.0 in applied mathematics and physics with some focus on optics. It was brand new. Merced's still a new UC, but this was like right after it came out. Like Michelle Obama was the first speaker. That's how you knew UC Merced is. And apparently, while I was there, I was working, doing a lot of the schoolwork. I was commuting because I have a home in Tulare. So I could make it so my classes were like 2 or 3 days a week, and I just commute on those days. And I missed some, they'd have fucking concerts on the grounds. And I missed some pretty good concerts. Oh, shit. I'm sexy and I know it. That group. Yeah, they played there. I wish I had seen them. They were really popular. I like that fucking song. It's catchy as hell. The video is hilarious. This is not NASA, although it looks like it. It looks spaceshipy. After Merced, I went to UC Santa Cruz for grad school where I studied astrophysics. I majored in applied mathematics, but you had to have an application, and astrophysics was the application I chose. This is a time lapse of a solar flare rising to the surface of the sun. They start in the middle of the sun as like tubes of plasma, like spaghetti. Like the center is just a big thing of spaghetti, but it's all fluid, which is weird. Like, how can it be tubes but be fluid? Apparently, there's like the way the fucking sun works, there's magnetic bands and stuff that make these tubes stick together. And every once in a while, one would have a different magnetic density or magnetic pressure than those around it. And the magnetic pressure alone would cause it to lift to the surface. And then you see the solar flares that you see where it arcs. It rises up as a noodle going to the top. Like if you took a pool noodle and make it come out of the water with a pool, that's how a solar flare works. I was studying that. It starts out as a round thing. And as it goes up, like all the shit above it's pushing down on it. And it pushes it down and causes it to swirl up underneath it like this. It makes these little swirling things. The stuff on the top swirls down and it goes up, it diffuses out a little more and more. And I did that for like 2.5 years using Fortran fucking like 90. It was 25-year-old program. And I'm using like a super old computer system program because it does science shit really well. And that's what they were using. But like for 1.5 years, my noodle didn't rise. It just fucking sank as time went on. And it took us like 1.5 years to fucking find it. My advisors tried to find it. Finally, we wrote up all the equations that govern magnetic hydrodynamics. I'll show you what they are. Sometime this semester. I don't want you to run away. When you see them, you're like, oh, nope, got to have it out. I'm out. But we went through it line by fucking line of the equations going, where is this in the code? Where is this in the code? Gravity wasn't fucking in the code. I adopted the code from somebody that grad student that got his fucking doctoral degree. That motherfucker didn't have gravity active. That's like how we revolve around the goddamn sun. He didn't have gravity active. I don't know how shit worked. But that's what I was doing. I was in the doctoral program myself. I didn't want to do this for a living. This was fucking boring. Used a supercomputer here too, but it wasn't 2 hours to run. It was like 8 or 9 hours to run. And sometimes, even before it started showing that it just dropped to the bottom, it would just say NaN, which means not a number. So rather than telling me within 10 minutes the shit didn't work, it would let it run for a fucking day and then say it didn't work. It took a really long time to test it. I hated it, but in grad school, at least in the STEM fields, they tend to pay your grad school by having you teach undergraduate courses. You don't do the lectures, but you do discussion groups, you lead problem-solving sections, and I love the shit out of that. And that's why I came back here to teach. When I was here, I was a tutor in the Mason Center, and the dean at the time saw that I did a good job. Said, if you decide you want to teach, come back when you're close to finishing your master's, and we'll get you a job. And I did. I hadn't even had my master's yet when I applied. And I finished my master's like 4 days after the semester started. But because you can't teach at a community college without your master's degree. But they knew I was finishing it, and they were like, okay, we'll hire you for a part-time job. I applied for a full-time job. To apply for a full-time job in teaching, you tend to have to give a lecture. And in hindsight, that first lecture was terrible. But I was part-time for a year, and I got hired full-time in 2017. I have been full-time since, and I'm so fucking glad I stopped my PhD program and a master's degree. Santa Cruz, what you may not know is a lot of schools will let you stop the program on the way. And like if you're going into the STEM fields and stuff, they'll pay your way Sometimes they'll pay a master's degree program, but they pay all their PhD programs. They pay for the classes, they pay for your housing and shit like that. You know, all your expenses and stuff like that, it's paid for. But if you're a master's degree student, they have so much funding and they give it to PhDs first. But a lot of them let you stop the PhD program and quit with a master's, and you don't have to pay anything back because you've already paid, you got the money as a scholarship. It wasn't like a loan. So I ended up stopping with a master's and came back and started teaching. I love it. I have a captive audience for stupid shit. I get to wear T-shoes and a T-shirt, and I'm not wearing a T-shirt today, but half the time I will be. My advisor, he wore fucking shorts and flip-flops. Like he came, it was Santa Cruz, so it was always good weather. But like I can do whatever I kind of want without, as long as I'm not abusive to students or harass students, I'm good to go. I have a boss. There's a boss here. It's a good job. I don't know if you can tell, but I like food. I like Mexican food the most. It's my favorite ethnic food. Tamales are at the low end for Mexican food for me. My wife loves them though, but tamales are hit or miss. A lot of people make them, and sometimes they're just dry as fuck. You've all had a dry tamale, and you're like, this is not good. So yeah, I like eating. I like Starbucks. So, you know, let me wet my whistle. I used to tutor at Starbucks on the weekend for my students. That's changed this last semester. They started, and it's continued this semester. On Saturdays, I will be in the Mason Center in Visalia from 9 to 12, tutoring there. And they're paying me to do it there, whereas at Starbucks, I was doing it for free. So I kind of like getting paid. They wanted to open it on Saturdays, and they're like, we heard you do it on Saturdays for your students already. Would you like to do it? Yeah. I like students that go to tutoring tend to really want to succeed. Not every student in a college class wants to succeed, which is confusing, but it's fucking true. They won't put, a lot of students won't put in the effort. Those that go to tutoring, I know are putting in the effort. They don't get like preferential treatment or anything, but they do get one-on-one tutoring with their professor. So that's kind of good. I used to do it at Starbucks. I like drinking Starbucks. I don't even want to, like, Starbucks started doing your previous year report. I was like one of the top 1% fucking Starbucks users for the fucking app in 2023. It's fucking ridiculous. I had like over 7,000 fucking points, stars earned. I don't know how. A lot of it is doing the little things where you get like bonus stars. And I'm pretty sure they included stars where I called and complained that they like took the wrong star. Man, I had like 800 stars awarded over the last year because they like charged me 200 stars for a 100 star drink. Shit like that. But still, there's at least 6,000 stars I earned that were, even with the whole, you get 40 stars extra if you do this. That's a lot of fucking, I gotta cut back on Starbucks. Who's that? Get out. That is not Darth Vader, that is Lord Vader. Only fucking rebel scum calls him Darth Vader. That's Lord Vader. I like the bad guys. In fact, if you look in my office window, it's right down the hall. It's B110. It says, I'm a math teacher. Of course, I've got problems. If you look at the floor, there's Darth Vader math. I had for a while, well, Lord Vader. For a while, I had Lord Vader like window shades in the car. And students started stalking me. Not like in a like creepy way, but like enough where like one of the students said, like, thought you weren't here today, Mr. Jones. That was thought we didn't have class. I'm like, why? You weren't here. Why'd you think that? I didn't see your car out front. The fuck? How do you fucking know what I drive? Well, the Lord Vader thing gives it away a little bit. I took those down. Next semester, they still fucking knew. Different students knew. So it's like, huh. I like the bad guys. This guy's great. Luke Skywalker, whiny little bitch. He became good, but in the first fucking episode that A lot of you probably grew up with episode 1 being the first episode, but it's not. Episode 4 is the first episode. And he was a whiner. He was a whiny little teenager. He's a punk. He grew up to be kind of cool, but like in the beginning, he's lame. Vader fuck cool the whole one. One of his first scenes is just like, someone's mouthing off. No, I'm gonna choke you with my fingers from fucking 30 feet away. That's fucking power. I like it. For those of you that like the good guys, I like Yoda too. How can you not like Yoda? He speaks so fucking crazy. Not episode 1, but I want to say it was episode 2. He had a really great quote. He's telling to Luke when he, it might be episode 1. And he's telling him, you know, I told you to, you know, raise other Jedis. Teach them what you know. And you tell them all the good shit, but you didn't teach them how to fail. This is a long quote. But like, you will learn more in this class when you fuck up than you will when you do it right, as long as you keep fucking trying. Ask for help, find out how to do it, and learn from it. When you fucking miss a problem and figure out how to do it, you remember how to do it better later on. Whereas if you like watched lecture and you didn't get it or you got it right away, it seemed intuitive. Well, final rolls around fucking 14 weeks later, you haven't worked on that type of problem for a while. You haven't seen that lecture in a while, and you didn't go through the struggle of failing. So if you miss problems, don't get discouraged. That's just learning at its finest. Okay? We'll talk about the homework and stuff like that a little bit. Mandalorian, if you haven't seen the Mandalorian, I like the Mandalorian. Good stuff. He's like the hero type, but doesn't want to be the hero type. I kind of like that. I like playing video games. Does anyone know who that is? Samus. Samus Aran from Metroid. I grew up with playing the old games. I fucking love Metroid. I love Zelda. I didn't get Breath of the Wild for the longest time, or Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild's the first one.
Yeah, I didn't get Breath of the Wild for the longest time because I was hoping it was going to go down in price. And it didn't go down in fucking price.
Still the same price. Even
it went down for Tears of the Kingdom.
Like $10.
Right. It went down. It was like, yeah, the sale price is like $50.
Yeah.
Get the fuck 5 years later, and you don't have fucking down to $20 like all the PlayStation games.
Do not go down.
They don't go down. I have a Switch. I have a Wii. I have PlayStation 5, 4, 3. I want to say I had it too, but I'm not sure. I had a PlayStation 1 for a while.
Your Wii still works?
Yeah, I think. I haven't played it in a long time. I'm a gamer. And I didn't like the animation. The colors on this kind of suck. They were very discouraging. And I'm like, that's part of the reason why I don't like, at least in the videos where you're watching it before you start playing it. And I'm like, you know what? I love Zelda. It's like my favorite franchise for video games. Well, it was.
But you didn't like either of those?
But I love, once I tried them, I liked them.
Okay.
That tower back there, that is a tower back there. To get there from where you're at right here without this fucking motorcycle, which took a long time to get, you're running for like 20 or 30 fucking minutes. You can see that far away in this video game. You can see as far as you can see. If the game, if part of the world was there, you could fucking see it if you had line of sight. That is neat. Unlike all the other video games, you like, oh, we gotta go through zone, transition window. Nope, not Zelda. You paid for it in color choices, but the game was super fun. I spent a long time playing that. I did not beat fucking Breath of the Wild. I had all the downloadable content. There was 120 shrines, which are like little puzzle dungeons where you go do a puzzle. Sometimes there's combat in it, but a lot of times it's just puzzles. And I had found 119 of them. And I couldn't find fucking 120th. And I'm one of those, I want to do everything in a game before I beat it. And I finally looked up and it only shows up during a blood moon. And I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm not, blood moons only show up every 3 hours. And I'm not sitting down, running around in that one fucking spot for the blood moon event to kick in just for this one dungeon. And I didn't want to beat the game without it. So I fucking just did it. I finally got it though, and then I got Tears of the Kingdom when it came out. And it came out like 2 weeks before fucking finals. That motherfucker sat on my desk unopened. I look at it every day because I knew as soon as I opened it, finals weren't going to get graded on time. Students were going to be mad and shit, and it was my reward for doing a good job. That shows my total play time. Before I beat the game, there's still probably another 10 hours on top of that. And I didn't do all of it.
No, it's a big game. It never stops, it never ends.
I didn't do all of it. I did like, there's the surface of the planet. There's a lot of shit that's way up in the air. And there's an underground dungeon cavern that takes up the entire surface of the planet too. I did like most of the shit on the surface. I did maybe 70% of the air shit and 70% of the shit underground. But like,
I don't like the underground.
it took a what? Yeah. I think I have less of the underground down than the surface. But I like that game a lot. That is my favorite video game series. Does anyone know that that's from? Souls. That's Dark Souls. I fucking love Dark Souls, and I didn't play it until Dark Souls 2 was like in like the collector, like the Game of the Year edition kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, this is a really popular game. So that was the first one. I'll give it a try. It was cheap. And I put it in, and within 60 fucking seconds, no, I'm going to give it 30 seconds. Within 30 seconds, I had died, and it had given me an achievement. It's like, congratulations on your first death. I'm like, fuck you. That's some cold shit. I walked off an edge. You start on a little island, there's a bridge leading to the next area. I went over to look over the edge to see if there's land of like there's secrets down there I could jump down and get shit. Ended up walking a little too close, and over I fell and died. And then okay, watch the edges. Don't be stupid. Don't automatically assume you can't walk over. And then I crossed the bridge, and then the fucking dog that's right over the bridge killed me for like an hour and a half fucking straight. I didn't beat him. Finally figured out like maybe dodging is an important thing. You can't just fucking mash the buttons and out hit him. He will get you every time. The game it's so hard until you figure out how to play, and then it's super fucking fun. I love this series. I played Elden Ring, was the most recent one in the franchise that came out. I did all the endings of that one. I saved several save files because there's like 6 or so different endings. And I had well over 100 some hours logged on that. I like the game. A lot of games, you don't die a lot. It's really easy to not lose. This game, you lose a lot, and you get punished. They take all your experience, and you got to run back and try to get it. But you know, the monsters all come and they're in the same spots as they were before. So you like have some foresight the second go through. And hopefully you don't die when you're going to get your shit. The Witcher. I like The Witcher. I played Witcher 3. I want to say I played Witcher 2 for a little bit. I haven't played the original Witchers. I logged in over like 100 and some hours on Witcher 3 too. Just doing everything. That game's a lot of fun. Lucifer on the TV show. It was on Fox for a while. I managed to, when I was a student, I downloaded a lot of bootleg shit. And the first episode of Lucifer came out bootleg like 6 months before the show did. I'm like, that's an interesting name. I like bad guys. Clearly got to be a bad guy. So like I watched it. I fucking love the show. Fox had it, and they canceled it after like 3 or 4 seasons. And the fucking fans went, wow, they were pissed. So we were all on Facebook and doing shit with like, save Lucifer, I love Lucifer. My brother-in-law, some of my in-laws are like heavily religious. One of them was going to be a pastor for a while. I got the, what is wrong with you? Like I was banned from going. I mean, it's a TV show. Watch it. You might actually like it. So Lucifer was a great TV show. It was really fun. That's Walking Dead. My wife and I watched this up until this scene right here. The first go through, like as the week it was coming out, we watched it. We got to that scene, and we're like, if you've seen Walking Dead, you know this scene, you're like, it was enough. We were done. We were done. It was no longer really zombie. It was more about how hateful can people be to other people. And so we stopped watching. And like they had like 5 more seasons after that. And then there's like Walking Dead, I think, has more spin-offs than any other TV fucking show. It's insane. And we love a lot of characters, so we're like, we'll give it a try. And this scene was still hard to watch. And the following scene where you actually see what he does with the bat, like the next episode or two, they're pretty rough. But after that, this is one of my favorite fucking characters because he's got a lot of personality. And we're on season, like we just finished season 9 this morning. So my wife and I binge watch all that shit. Lucille is the name of the bat. That's Dexter. It's a show that I don't know. Has anyone seen Dexter? He was a daytime blood spatter analyst for the Miami Metro Police Department, and at nighttime, he fucking killed people with a knife. He's a bad guy, but he only killed bad guys. He killed people that made it through the system, that didn't get jail time or long enough jail time, that did shit like murder or rape. He didn't kill anybody for like minor crimes. It was always the really like bad people. He would hunt them down and kill them. And he worked for the police department and how to avoid it. It was pretty good all the way up to the last episode of the final season. The last episode was a disappointment. So much of a disappointment that like 10 years later, they brought it back and did an 8th season to kind of give it like a better close because the fans were not happy. It was really good though. Game of Thrones. I like dragons. I told you I like fantasy shit. I like dragons. I like hot girls. She's pretty. This show was great because I had read all of the Game of Thrones books before they come out. I knew Tale of Ice and Fire. I read them all. So I knew they do a pretty good job of following what's in the books. And sometimes I knew what was coming. And so I would spend just as much time watching my wife as I would watching the show because I wanted to see how she would react to it. Now, if you've seen the show and you've seen Red Wedding, that's one of those scenes where like there was a lot of YouTube videos after catching, like filming other people watching and to film the reaction. My wife reacted the appropriate way with absolute fucking abject horror. Then her mom moved in with us and we wanted mom to watch it with us because the show was still going. So we binge watched all the episodes leading up to it. Mom watched Red Wedding. Mom didn't fucking flinch. Was not fazed by it, which made me worried to have her sleeping in my fucking house. I'm not gonna tell you about it if you haven't seen it. Red Wedding is a special treat. It's a good show. I didn't like the ending so much there either. They rushed it too much that final season. He still hasn't done the fucking next book. They did all the books in the series, then passed up the books in the series, finished the series with the TV show, and he still hasn't done one of those books.
He's doing an anime show now. He's never gonna finish.
He doesn't need to. He's found entertainment. He makes more money at this stuff than he would as an author. There's a guilty pleasure. Survivor. If you like watching Survivor, I've watched it since like season 2 or 3. I used to work did accounting for the Diocese of Fresno. It's the Catholic Church headquarters. And I was in the accounting department. There was 8 of us. I was the only male. And one of the early seasons was Guys versus Girls. They all watched Survivor. They loved it. And they were talking about it. I'll take some action on this. Let's make a bet. So I don't even remember who won. I don't remember if a guy or a girl won. But we started watching it then. And it's like, I'm a little embarrassed that I like it. But I do like it. I like Pixar shit. Who doesn't like Pixar shit? Does anyone here not like Pixar movies? You don't have to be a kid to like Pixar movies. I have this on here for a couple of reasons. I like stuff like that. I don't like SpongeBob. No, I'll fucking shoot myself in the head before I watch SpongeBob. He's boring. But like some cartoons are good. Pixar's great. I know one of the animators, he's probably a supervisor by now. When I was a student at COS, I earned the Jack Kent Cook Scholarship. It's a national scholarship. Jack Kent Cook used to own the Washington Redskins when they were the Redskins. And when he passed away, he gave all his money to education to students that strive to achieve, but didn't actually grow with money. And despite being a white male and have everything going for me, I'm from like my mom and dad were divorced when I was like 1 year old. And my mom didn't make a lot of money. We were poor. We had welfare cheese and shit like that. Well, before I became a teacher, I was low income, maybe middle low. But one of the first people I met, and it was an animator, and now he works for Disney. And he spent the pandemic writing a fucking series of books that I'm being a beta reader on. And if you look in my office, there's a giant picture on the wall. He does a time lapse of a rocket launching down near San Diego or something like that, where it launches and it comes back and lands. And he did a time lapse of the whole thing. And he made it one photo. He's a photographer, just a lot of entertainment stuff. And so, like, I think it's really cool that I know someone at Disney or Pixar, and he's like, I think it's really cool that I know someone that's worked at NASA. And we're friends. This is part of the reason why I wanted to get a PhD. Dr. Jones, this is Indiana Jones. The last one wasn't too bad. The Dial of Destiny I actually liked. It was even about a mathematician. Fucking good times. That fucking fourth one with that alien shit, no. So the Crystal Skull, Kingdom of the... Oh my God, it was terrible. I will reference this scene at least once during the semester by saying clever girl. And it may not be to a girl, it may be to a guy. If I say clever girl to you, I'm referencing this. Don't take anything gender related out of it. I really like the scene. I like dragons, so how could I not like dinosaurs? A lot of the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies are pretty good. But that scene is great. Back to the Future. I like time travel stuff a lot. If you go down the physics route, you'll actually learn how time travel works. Yeah, it works if you go fast enough. But you just can't go backwards in time. You can only go forwards. But you can travel faster through time than other people can if you go fast enough. It's kind of neat. I like Back to the Future though. Galaxy Theater still has it once in a while. They had it one of those flashback for super cheap. I'm like, oh, I gotta go see that in the theater again. A couple of years ago, 5 years ago, they had the Matrix back for their anniversary, like 20th anniversary, something like that. Like, oh, I know I got students that haven't fucking seen this. And I totally was like, it's during the summer. And I'm like, I'm going to be there. You guys will really like it if you go. It's $6. I had like 10 students show up to the set. I'm like, I'm at this showing. Maybe you want to watch it with me, but either way, you should go watch it. It's cheap. I know it's summer school. I know you're going through like classes with death, but the Matrix was really good. That's not time travel really, but still. That's Tiamat. I play Dungeons and Dragons. I still do. I'm playing this Saturday. I used to play in person in Fresno, and then the pandemic rolled around and we switched to Zoom and we just kind of never went back. So now we play on Zoom, but I like D&D. I've grown up loving D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. So if you like role-playing games of any kind, as you may have guessed from some of the other video games I've played, yeah, I'm one of those. It was before it was cool. Or, well, even semi-cool now. There are still people that say it's not cool. But it's gotten to be fairly mainstream. There's TV shows on it. Major celebrities play it. That's a little symbol for the Rolling. We're almost done. That's a symbol for the Rolling Stones. I love rock and roll. I like classic rock the most. The names of the genres and the eras the years they apply to have changed over the years. Like the Rolling Stones were not in my time. Well, they're still alive. They're still playing on occasion. But like I'll listen to all sorts of stuff. Like my wife loves country. I'll listen to some country. I like Garth Brooks and stuff like that. But like there's only so many times you can hear about your dog dying and your wife leaving you, and you know the tornado picked up your fucking house. Before like the song gets repetitive. I did like I'll buy me a boat. I want to buy me a boat. I took my wife to go to the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, and Chris Jensen, I think is his name is. I think he's the guy that sings "Buy Me a Boat." And he was like, he just played that song, and I'm like, this is. I didn't know any of the songs, and the rest of them were like, eh. I spent the next fucking 3 days singing that song. That song was catchy as hell. I like music. I like listening to songs. Please don't cheat. I've had students cheat on the exams. Will be in person. We're gonna have a midterm and a final. We'll talk about in a second. Please don't use apps and stuff like that. It's not gonna help you. Presumably, if you're in this class, you want to go take the next math course in this sequence. Is this the last stop for anybody in mathematics? You are alone, man. Interesting. What made you choose this one? Huh. Well, for most other people, they're going to go on. Don't cheat. You use a lot of math in your day-to-day lives, whether you realize it or not. Like when you go to a grocery store, no one wants to look like, if you have cash, look like, or if you have a limited income and you know what's on your card, no one wants to look like they're broke by putting more shit in their cart than they could pay for. So most people, if you got a little money, you're adding up what you fucking buying as you go. You may not be doing to the penny, but you may round like $3.50 up to $4. You've learned how to do some basic mathematics and really some algebra problem solving. I've spent 23 bucks. I've got 30 total. How much do I have left to spend? That's an algebra problem, whether you think you know it or not. Most people just go, oh, they figure out I've got $7 left I can spend. You learn those skills taking classes like this. Having said that, everyone can get an A+ in this class. At university, no one, let's see what it says that I know, but some universities, if you transfer, every once in a while, you will come across a relic teacher that grades on a bell curve and like only 1 or 2 students can get A's. I fucking want to shoot those people. Like if you earn an A, it doesn't matter if someone else got 1 point more than you, you should still get the A. So put in the work and everyone, I'd be more than happy as hell to have the dean come to me and go, what the fuck is this? And I say, what? They all got A's. Did you just give them out? That's a worry. We don't want to give out grades. I mean, no, they earned it. I want that to happen. It hasn't happened yet. You guys can do it. You guys can do it for me. Make me the Billy Badass on this campus. All right. The difference between you and me, I took this class when I was a student here. Well, it was called Math 230 at the time, or 230 some. It was intermediate algebra. It was algebra 2. It's effectively, it's college algebra now, or pre-calculus A. I started here when I went to COS, and now I teach the damn courses. I guarantee you I have missed more math problems than you've even ever attempted in your life. Error after fucking error after fucking error. But if you don't give up, you can actually learn from it and you master it. So don't give up. You get stuck, ask me. Several of the questions have a way to ask the instructor, stuff like that. You can always come to office hours. Office hours for this class will be after this class from 5 to 6. I also tend to be in my office from about 1:30 to 2 on Monday or Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's Tuesday. And I'm available, like if you like it's the weekend and you're like, I'm stuck, you'll see I'll have my phone number on Canvas. You can text me and go, hey, this is Sarah, I have a question. Take a picture of what you're working on and I'll respond. If I can't answer well enough in the text, I'll hop on Zoom with you if I'm free. If I'm not playing D&D or watching a show with my wife or something, I'm happy to spend some of my time with you on the weekends. And fun quote by Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Your mindset is very much a deciding factor in this course. If you really think you can do it, you will put the effort into doing it. And if you don't think you can do it, you don't try. And then you never give your chance to learn it. Sometimes it takes longer for some than others, but everyone can learn it. That's it for the slideshow. Let's take a 5-minute break. That was kind of long. If you want to get up and stretch or do something, I'm just going to pause this real quick. All right, so let's take a look at our Canvas section. This is our base Canvas homepage. This orientation module, I want you to do this first week. One of them you do by Thursday, introduce yourself. You don't have to do more than say, hi, my name is so-and-so. The more you share, the more you get to know about each other, the more I know about you, the easier it is to help you with things that are maybe real life related, if they're affecting your schoolwork, and then what we can do to work around it, stuff like that. It helps me when I'm writing letters of recommendation. I just had someone ask me today for a letter of recommendation to work on campus. I get it all the time from students all the time. So introduce yourself. This class is also there's an online class I'm teaching this semester. And since I'm using a new program I've never used before, the ALEKS system, I'm letting them watch. I'm recording this so they can watch the videos. This is going to be recorded every day, unless the internet goes down here, which it does every once in a while, and I might have to record a supplemental video. But if you get sick or something, you can stay home. I recommend being here when you can, because you learn better that way. Go through these. We'll go through some of these ourselves. Always check the announcements. That's a little intro to the announcement. When we start the ALEKS program, it is being brought to you at zero cost this semester, since I'm piloting it for the first time and none of the other teachers here at COS use it. We got them to agree to let me give it to my students for free this semester, so that I can tell other teachers if I like it. When you log in, it says ALEKS down here, but it's also in the modules. Your homepage is the modules. And after this first orientation module, I'm going to be posting links to the videos as I record them here. Oh, wow, I really want something in there. All the homework assignments are up, but I don't know if you can access them ahead of time or not. They're designed to allow you to access them on Thursday for the material we did that week. And you'll have a full week to do the homework. So it'll be good until next Thursday. When you log in the first time, it is going to give you something. It'll say initial knowledge check. It's 25 questions. Please, for your sake, take it seriously. Take it like it's a test. Make sure you got 2 or 3 hours available, depending on how, you never know how long you're going to need. But for every problem you get right in those 25 questions, it's going to weed out a shitload of homework problems for you for the rest of the semester. Because if you've shown mastery at the beginning of the course on a topic, there's no need to make you do homework on it. So everything you know how to do already, you won't have to do homework on. You could cheat this and use like ChatGPT or any of the apps on your phone to answer every question correctly and get all the homework right. But then you're not going to have anything to practice on the entire semester very well. And you're going to fail the midterm and the final, which are more of your grade than the homework is. So it's a bad decision to try to cheat the homework. Okay? But it can take the ALEKS time and make it much shorter. I'll show you that now before we go through the rest of the syllabus, talk about percentages and stuff. The first thing you'll do is the initial knowledge check, then you'll have assignments. I don't know that you'll see them all at once. I think you can. But I want to show you something, and I think it's going to be discouraging at first. First couple weeks only have assignments that are only like an hour and a half. But then look, we've got an hour, assignment says 4 hours and 45 minutes. I know this says 5 hours and a half. Later in the semester, they get cut going back down to 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour. But there's a lot in the beginning, like you need to remember something like the beginning algebra shit, how exponents work, stuff like that. I do have a support course that goes with this class. It's called Math 335. It's from 2 to 3 in this room. If you find that you're feeling a little bit fuzzy on shit and want a refresher, you're more than welcome to come and sit in with the students. If you want to live, you want to participate. Otherwise, I am going to record them and post them on Zoom as well. And you can watch them later for a refresher there. But if you take that initial knowledge check seriously, when you get down to doing this 50 topic questions, which means like 50 questions or so, you could get it down to 10 if you like remember all your shit. So depending on, like it can go from 5 hours down to 20 minutes, depending on how much you remember. And it's all based on what you do in that initial knowledge check. They only ask once. So take that first check seriously. The homework is designed to be adaptive. In case you like math tends to be very sequential. You got to do A before B before C. If you're doing C and it looks like you don't know what you're doing on C, they might throw you a problem in step B and go, well, do you remember how to step B? And if you don't remember how to do that, they'll throw you a problem in step A, take you back to the beginning to get you up to speed real quick. So some problems might take longer in the beginning. Note that later on it'll be less. It's also worth noting that the science and math courses, homework just takes more fucking time than other classes, other than maybe English. Doing a good essay can take a really long time if you do it on your own, if you don't get like ChatGPT to do it for you. And it's like college is recommending 2 hours of homework for every hour of lecture. So we have 4 hours of lecture each week. That's like 8 hours of homework. None of these assignments are 8 hours. So I'm still not even up to official college standards. Most teachers don't ever have 2 hours of homework for each hour of homework. But depending on how much you remember, you might have a lot of work in the beginning. Okay? Feel free to watch the supplement videos. Feel free to come in from 2 to 3 to participate in that class if you're free and you like no work, no teaching or anything like that. In the first half of the semester, we're going to be reviewing stuff you'll need for that day. By the midterm, we've pretty much covered everything you're going to need to review for. And then the rest of the semester, I'm going to be just doing more more example problems in that hour, because that's really how we do math. Like I can tell you all the lecture material. This is how you do it. You give you all the words in English, and you're like, blah blah blah. That's fucking boring. Word problems suck. I know they suck. But if we go through them, they get easier. And the more you do, like in that hour when we're doing them, I will have you guys try it, and then I'll just sit up here and watch you guys for 5 minutes, be all creepy stalkerish, and then I'll do it with you guys, and we'll see. That way you can see what you got, where you messed up, and have feedback right away from me on how to do it right. Also in the homework category, at the very end of the semester, the entire thing is keeping track of your cumulative learning goal. It's a pie chart. It fills in the pie as you showed that you understand shit. So that will affect your grade as well. For students that come in knowing a lot, it's kind of hard to grade you on homework when you don't have a lot of homework to do. And this rewards you for learning the material, not just knowing the material or passing the homework, but being able to show that you mastered it. Throughout the semester, there are post-knowledge checks, post-module knowledge checks every 2 or 3 weeks that they throw 5 or 6 questions at you and go, what do you remember from the last couple of weeks? What do you remember from 4 weeks ago? They'll ask different shit and see what you remember. You can access the homework through here. or in the modules. But just on that first time, remember, give yourself a couple hours. On the only other homework assignments, you should be able to log off at any time and restart again. So you don't have to do the other assignments cumulatively. If you think about it, even the 5-hour assignment for a week worth of work, that's like 45 minutes a day. Max, if you were to break it up throughout the week. That's not really a lot of homework. But when you see it all clumped together and it seems like you do it all together at once, it's like, this is overwhelming. I hear you. Know that it gets better. Syllabus is a pretty good tab. We're going to go over the syllabus in general, but you will be able to see what I'm lecturing on in any given day. And I'll show you the textbook I'm using. It's free, it's online. It's in the syllabus link as well. You can see when our midterm is on March 19th. Our final will be May 16th. We got some review days. On April 23rd, why is that? That shouldn't be that one. I need to check this. This is this is in the wrong order or something. That shouldn't say at-home video. One of the other. Oh wait, yeah, it is. That's right. I'm doing helping with interviews that day. One of these days I'm in Texas. Solar eclipse. It's my 20th anniversary this year. And so we're like, we already gone, we visited all 48 states that touch. We haven't been to Alaska or Hawaii, but I've never seen the sun fucking blotted out from the sky during the day. That's gotta be fucking cool. I know there's one like on the West Coast a few years ago. It's right when I started teaching though, and I couldn't leave to go do it. And in the Central Valley, yeah, the sky got a little dimmer, but it didn't go dark. Apparently in a real solar eclipse, it's fucking nighttime for a few minutes. It's in the middle of the day. This is how we came up with gods. That's how gods were invented. You know, something magical like that happens, and it doesn't happen often. If you grew up if you were from 1,000 years ago, you didn't move very far from home because you didn't have cars. Like you walked everywhere, maybe rode a fucking horse. You didn't go very far from home. And an eclipse happening in your area generally doesn't happen but once every 500 years, unless you're like in New Zealand. Australia has like 3 of them in the next 4 years. 3 solar eclipses. Apparently Australia's right in the zone where it's solar eclipse heavy. But I've never seen one, and I don't know that there's another one anywhere near the West Coast in my probable lifetime, so we're going to it.
There was a partial one in Colorado.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago.
It wasn't complete. It was close.
There was a region you could go to where it was complete, and it wasn't where we were.
Yeah.
Syllabus. I recommend if you struggle to see well, I use this monitor all the time. I'm a lazy fucker. Standing for 3 hours is not something I want to do. So I use a projector. It allows me, first off, to face the audience and see when someone has the look on their face. I know maybe I need to explain something differently. Whereas if I have my back to you, that goes away. I don't know fucking shit. And it allows me to sit on my happy little ass the whole time because I like sitting on my happy little ass. But having said that, if you struggle seeing something, let me know. I can try to zoom in or scoot forward. I don't bite. All right, it's got my email, davidjo.cos.edu. It's got a class listed. This says my office is right down the hall. I told you where it is. Office hours are after this. You can actually click right on this and get to the textbook. John Blakely is another teacher here at COS. He was my pre-calculus teacher here when I was at COS. I don't think he had this book ready at the time. I don't know that we used this book. I'm going to have to ask him. I'm going to text him tonight and ask him if he used it when he was my teacher. We're going to, chapters 1 through 8 are beginning algebra, that's what kind of what we're going to be refreshing on. Chapters R onward tend to take everything in the first 8 chapters to the next level. So it gets harder and they're more in depth. Rather than just doing equations with a bunch of steps. So we're going to start on chapter R and go forward, but it's here, it's free. And On Thursday, we're gonna do something for the first hour that's not math. But then we're gonna start lecturing, just so you can see what his textbook is like. He's got some problems up and he's got the solutions like written out pretty well. You can't really ask for more than that. And he would write them out the way students generally should write it out. Nice systematic order where it's nice and clean. Sometimes he even has words in what he's doing if it's more complicated. And then I'm going to use some of these questions down below as ways to guide the lecturing class. Rather than using the questions he's got above, that's where it's going to be. I took the topics that were here and found the matching topics in ALEKS. So there's a different textbook in ALEKS. You can actually, I think you can look at it and check it out. How do you see that? Oh, I know, in questions. A lot of the questions on the picture there will be something on the right that has a picture of like a book open, and you click on it and it takes you to like a textbook page, shows you what like the textbook had. But that's not the textbook we're using. It's another way of seeing similar ideas. Back in syllabus. So that's free to you. ALEKS is free to you. I pledge to do my best to help you all if you're helping yourself. I can't make you get an A if you're not putting in the effort. I can't make you get an A, period, without fudging the system, and I'm not going to do that. I get a lot of people asking. I get a lot of people trying to bribe me. Not going to happen. But if you're working on it the whole semester and you're asking questions, you'll tend to do better. If you do all the homework, you'd be surprised how much doing all the homework changes test scores. Like one of the semesters I had homework, I think it was completely optional. Do as much as you want, as little as you want, and it fucking showed. Like it was drastic. The difference between, I could see what these students that did and students who didn't. And if you do about 70 or 80% of your homework, you don't even need to do it all. You just do enough of each section. You should do really well on the test. I'll get to something related to that in a little bit. You should show up. That's how you can ask questions, interact. If you've got questions, you can stop me. It's really hard to stop a teacher if you're watching video. If you're on Zoom, you can turn on your mic and go, hey, Mr. Jones, I have a question. I strongly encourage you asking me questions. And please, if you have a question on a step, say something right away. Like, don't let, some of these problems can take 5 or 10 minutes to walk through. And if you let me go through 10 minutes of like a fucking page and a half of paper, and then you go, I have a question on step 1, I got to read you that whole 10 minutes, which means wasting your time. Just ask right away. Sometimes I do stupid shit too. I make mistakes. I still make math mistakes. Most of my math mistakes nowadays are from being so comfortable with math that I try to do it too fast. You will see me write down, I guarantee it, 1 + 1 will not equal 2 at some point in this semester. Or some simple addition thing. I will write 2 simple single-digit numbers added together and give you the wrong answer. And it's going to be a mistake because I'm looking at numbers that are going to show later on, and that number popped in my head. And then if you go like 1 + 1 = 4, you write it down, you're like, I guess it works for 4 this time. Yeah, no, well, it's not 4. If you don't know 1 + 1 does not equal 4, you have a long semester in front of you. So if you see something, you're like, I don't know what's going on, stop me. Let me correct you there. Or let me correct it then. Sometimes it's my mistake. Sometimes I haven't explained it well. But if I lose you in the beginning of a problem, I've lost you for the entire problem. And probably the problems after that. So stop me right away. Okay? And hopefully I have just 1 or 2 people in this class that are willing to do it. Because generally, if one person asks, like 5 or 6, at least 5 or 6 people have a question and they won't raise their hand, you're being a hero to the peers around you when you raise your hand and say, I got a question. And they're like, oh, thank God, I didn't know what's going on either. They didn't bother to say it. All right, jump to class. You can learn, don't be disruptive. Please don't make me throw you out. Like, I can throw you out. I just found out, was it yesterday or in the last couple of days? During the pandemic or after the pandemic, there was a TikTok challenge to attack your teacher. I will have you fucking arrested if you assault me. I'll tell you that right now. I'll have the police called. And you are not coming back to school ever. And it will expel your ass for assaulting a teacher. Apparently they were doing. I know it was this weekend. I was talking to my brother-in-law. They were doing it in like high schools and getting away with it, not even getting expelled. Like, because it's detrimental to the student. No, detrimental to the student is me breaking a ruler over your goddamn head. If you fucking hit me, I'm not gonna hit you back, but I will throw you out. And the police will be called. Please don't do that. Please don't be that person. Every once in a while, there will be a student that tries to clown me. I can play that game pretty well too. And I will clown you back. If you start clowning me, I will clown back. Then don't go crying to faculty or the dean when you picked a fight you couldn't finish. Just say it. If you choose to drop the class, you can do it before January 29th, which is not a lot of time, but you get a full refund. There's nothing on your transcripts. After that, you have till March 22nd. Our midterm is on the 19th. I will have it graded before the 22nd. You will know how well you did. Okay? Don't drop before then. If you're not going to drop by the 29th, at least stick it out till the 22nd and find out what you got on the midterm. Okay? You may find that if you need longer to test and stuff like that, we have a place called the Access and Ability Center. You can go and make an appointment. And if you have certain things in life that are impacting your life, they will give you extra time. They will make me give you extra time. They'll tell me, they'll give you a paper to bring to me to say it, and I will give you longer on tests and shit like that. It's in the syllabus. I'm going to have a flyer up. I don't think I put the flyer up yet. I'll have the flyer up tonight on the announcement. You'll see a link to the flyer for the AAC Center. But it's helpful for students, for those that can use it. And if there's anything in this class that you can't access, I've had the student that couldn't see well, like it had like 90% vision reduction, where we had to go through and get the homework tailored to where it would auto magnify and stuff like that. There's shit out there we can do to make sure you can do this class. You can have your cell phones and everything in here. Please have them on vibrate at least. Don't have them ring. Unless you know there's a good chance there's a family emergency happening. Mom's in the hospital, grandma's in the hospital, might pass away. You want to take the call fucking live. If that's going to happen, sit near the door, and that way when it rings, you can dash out the door and not disrupt class too much. Other than that, keep it down. Other than that, you only really need a scientific calculator in here. A basic, they're like $10 at Walmart. You don't need anything more than that. I generally bring 1 or 2 on test days that you can borrow from me and bring up when you're done with it. If you don't have one, that does not include a cell phone. You can't use your cell phone on test day. I'm not a fucking moron. I know they have calculators on them, but you know what else they have on them? They have the fucking internet. They also have any picture you took of any problem that you fucking worked on. No cell phone usage. The idea is to show me that you've learned the material. Okay? For those of you that are in the online course and watching this later, you don't have in-person testing. I can't really stop you from cheating. I don't have any way of detecting you from cheating. But if you're taking another class after this, you're gonna fuck yourself if you do cheat. So if you want to fuck yourself, go right ahead. Math builds on itself like no other topic in school. History, you can skip around throughout history and do just fucking fine. English language kind of builds on itself. That kind of builds up too. So I guess English does. But math and the subjects related math, like the science ones, it's a sequential thing. Okay, so don't cheat. I can give you an F. I don't want to give you an F. Homework, we talked about how to do it, how to get to it. It's worth 30% of your overall grade. There are rewards for doing enough of it called leveling up. I'm a fucking gamer. I brought that shit to my class. We'll talk about leveling up in a little bit when I get down to it. There is a math tutorial lab in all 3 campuses. The one on the Tulare campus is in the next building, building A, you go up the stairs. Or if you're a lazy ass like me, take the elevator, it's in the back of the building, it's in the library. Just walk in and ask the person at the info desk, where's the math lab? And they'll tell you there's tutors in there all the time when it's open. I want to say they handed out a flyer for when the hours are open, and I'll have that uploaded too. Visalia has a bigger one, and I want to say it's in the new building. It used to be in the back of the library, but starting in fall, they moved it to the new building in the southeast campus corner. And Hanford has one, if you live out in Hanford. I do have students that, for some fucking unholy reason, commute from Hanford to come take my class. I know I have a good rating on my professors, but like, really, that's a long fucking drive. I wouldn't do it for me. And I think I'm fucking great. Midterm, you saw it on the scheduling of the page, is on Tuesday, March 19th. You expect to show all your work in nice, neat order. Please, like the way I do it in class or the way the teacher does it, John Blakely does it in the book, write shit in order. Don't make me look for your fucking answer or your work. If I can't fucking read what you did, it's an easy 0. If I can follow what you did, and even if you made mistakes, I get partial credit. So it's not an all or nothing question if I can follow what you did. Whatever you do, don't, when you take a test, do a problem, go, I don't think I got a right answer, erase it, and then not put anything there to replace it. I will have a good 4 students, maybe 5 students a semester, do it at least on one problem. I'll know that you did the problem and then erase it, because erasing doesn't get rid of everything. There's the indent marks from the pencils. Sometimes I can even see you had the right fucking answer. You just didn't like the answer. Weren't confident about it, leave it. If you're not going to replace it with something, leave it. You get 0 credit for an empty question. Crying is permitted on all exams as long as you do so quietly. A student shared that with me from someone else's syllabus, and I thought that's a great addition. I will bring in tissues, and I have a little tear bottle if you would. No one's ever bothered to try to cry and do it for me, so it's a virgin tear bottle, but it's for the tears of my students. I'm going to bring it in on test days. The final is comprehensive. Most of the questions will be on stuff after the midterm, but those questions build on shit before the midterm. And there will be a couple of the questions pulled from like midterm topics, just so it's comprehensive. That'll be on Thursday, Math 16th, because I'm a fucking champion. I wrote math rather than May. I need to change the syllabus. Thursday, Math 16th. In here, leveling up. At the time of the midterm, when you guys start taking midterm, I'm downloading, hitting download. And I'm going to go through and see if you did 80% of the homework. Overall, up to the midterm. If you have, you will level up. You get your first level. It's worth 2 points extra credit on the exam. And if you get the second level by doing the same thing for the final exam, you will be level 2. And level 2 is worth 5%. So if you don't do it on the first test, but you decide to dig in for the final, you can be level 1 for the final and you'll get 2%. But if you do 80% of the homework, you'll get extra credit on the fucking exams. And it's cumulative for start off strong, go strong. And truth be told, students that do 80% of the homework, rarely does that fucking extra credit make a goddamn difference. They've already probably earned a B or an A. Every once in a while, that's not true. And I don't know if it's they just raced through the homework and cheated, or because like sometimes I don't know if you actually did the homework when the homework's done. Someone else could have done it. But for the most part, if you do the homework, you're going to know how to do the shit. We'll have a review. There will be a review test in ALEKS, in fact, before the midterm. Theirs will be online on that week. They have a couple days to do it, but once they start, they only have a limited amount of time. We have, where is the practice exam? Practice midterm, not counted towards grade. It's not gonna, it counts as 0 points on your stuff. Do it, don't do it, or do it as many times as you want, pops up different questions. Give yourself some practice. There's the blah, blah, blah things you're gonna learn how to do. You're gonna learn how to simplify, evaluate. You can have fun reading that shit later on. These are the percentages that break down. Don't email me at the end of the semester and go, Mr. Jones, Canvas says I have an 89.6%. Will you please round up? Trust Mr. Jones that he will do right by you. If rounding is applicable and it will round you to a higher grade bracket, I will round you up. You don't need to worry that I'm gonna go 89.9, no, fuck you, B+. Okay, so don't worry about that. There's also a little schedule here. It's the same one you'll see in the syllabus. This has the due dates of the assignments as well. And I think that is on this tab as well. Did I put that down here? Yeah, I did. It just didn't scroll down long enough earlier. Any questions on that? So some homework, some midterm, some final. There's no quizzes. And if you do enough homework, you can get extra credit on the midterm and final. I will have a flyer for the Mesa Center. I'm on there on 9 to 12 on Saturdays. I have office hours from 5 to 6 after this class. If no one's there by like 5:15, I know no one's coming and I'm leaving. Because like we're literally just leaving this class. No one's going home and then coming back. But that's that. As the Zoom stuff's done, usually takes a little while for Zoom to process. I download, I upload it to YouTube. I will post links to it here, but you can also go to YouTube. And type Professor Hepe. And you'll see my shining face. I recommend clicking on playlists. These old Math 35s, they do have material related to this course, but it's a different book. So like matching up R to R and chapter 1 to 1 and 8 to 8, they don't line up. So you might be better off waiting for the new playlist that's going to start tonight. I'm even uploading today's, what I'm recording right now. You can also see other ones, like last semester there was a Python boot camp hosted by UC Berkeley, and I hosted it over Zoom in the Mesa Center on Saturdays, and we learned some Python programming. And you can check it out. If that interests you, if you're like into computer science and you want to learn a little Python, I still have the files from that. It's really neat. They walk you through it. I can send you the files and you can learn a little bit about Python in about 6 to 8 hours. You learn enough about Python. I have all my semesters up. Even when if you're going past this course, you take Calculus 1, Calculus 3 is in here somewhere. There's Calculus 3. I got a lot of classes. I haven't taught Calculus 2 yet, but I'm teaching it in fall. And I haven't taught the last two, which are linear algebra and differential equations. But my graduate work was on them. So like when you get to that point, if you have questions, once a teacher, always a teacher. If you have questions, you can always come back to me and ask questions later on. Is there anything else I need to go through here? Oh, if you're sick and you want to watch, chime in later, or if you email me and go, hey, Mr. Jones, you text me or email me, which I should walk through how to get a hold of me. And say, it's like Saturday night, I got a question. If I'm not busy, as soon as I see the text, I'll respond. And when you respond, like if you can't get my response, like if my response doesn't help you, I'll say, do you have a minute to hop on Zoom? And we can go talk on Zoom. If I do, click on this link. So this will be the way to access class if you're stuck at home, like you're not feeling well, or you get home from work and you get off work at fucking 3 o'clock and it's my cell, you're like, I'm going to be late every fucking day of class. I might as well just do it this way. Do it that way. It's not going to work on test days, but do what works for you. The COS Math Discord group is a pretty good group. Let me pause this, so I'm not airing this part. All right. This is gonna link to my YouTube channel as well. But as I'm doing the courses, I'm literally posting links here. Okay, so you don't actually need that one on the left. Do the introduce yourself by Thursday night. The most you have to do, the least you have to do is put up your name. You don't even have to say hi. You can just put your fucking name. Not even a sentence like my name is. You can just put your name. That's the bare minimum. If you share more, please share more. The more I know, the more I can help you. This is what I want to show you. We talked about the office hours from 5 to 6. My email's here. This is my cell phone number. If you call it, I'm not going to answer it because I always have the ringer off. I've done fucked up and gave out my cell phone number to students in the first semester when I started doing it, not thinking they would fucking call. And like, not every student's doing homework in a fucking reasonable time. If you text me at 1 a.m., I won't see it till I get up. You call me at 1 a.m., I'm not going to hear it because that fucking ringer's off. Generally, calling me isn't helpful though, because with text, you can actually send me a picture of what you're working on. Show me the problem, show me what steps you're at, and I can tell you what you did wrong or where you didn't do something wrong and how to proceed. The first time you do it though, say what your name is and what class you're in. Name alone isn't enough. Because I don't know what class you could be taking. Well, this semester is kind of easy. You're either in computer science or in algebra. And if you're actually sending me a picture of a homework problem, it's got to be algebra. But in general, it's just nice to say who you are. You only got to do it once. After that, the text message has got the chain. Like I said, I'll respond to it when I can. I've been known, I had one semester student for stats that she was a mother of like 3. She had a full-time job in nursing, and the only time she could meet was at like 6 a.m. on Tuesdays. So I got my happy ass up at 6 a.m. and met her on Zoom for an hour on Tuesdays. She ended up getting an A+ in that class. She was very fucking happy. I met with her once a week. I don't think you're going to need the password. You should be able to just click on Zoom room. I told you about the Math Discord group. If you actually go in there and post questions in there, I'm in the group too. I answer questions in there. There's a class for, just show it to you. Rude, I should already be in there. That might be something that you may not want to do later on, hint, hint. But there are classes for each one. So you can ask other students who are taking it. You can see what other students have done before. Benjamin is the one that had all this up, that set up the server. And it's throughout for the rest of the sequence. So if you join it now, you're in good hands. Woodbury wrote the old book that we used to use on algebra. So he's got a lot of stuff in there too that's pretty helpful. There's your link to ALEKS. Back to that Zoom list. I told you when you're lecturing. I told you that I'm recording it. That should be a link to the playlist channel or section. If you are watching it from home asynchronously, like later, you're watching a recorded lecture. It's fucking 2 hours. And you have no one to interact with. But you have this glorious thing called the fucking pause button. I know we grew up in a world, some of us, where like fucking a minute is too long. TikTok things are fucking short. You all have a short attention span. But guess what? You can always pause that shit, get up and walk away, go do whatever you want for a little bit, come back and restart. Use it the way we hire best. If you're going through something and you didn't want to ask something, and you're like, I want to see what he wrote, and you're not comfortable asking me to put it back up or something, you can always advance the video to that section and see what I wrote. Because it's broadcasting. Whatever's up here is on the video. Yeah, homework starts showing up at 2 o'clock. It might allow you to work ahead once you've completed the current section. I don't know. If it does, let me know. This is my first time using ALEKS and I haven't used it as a student. This is a little learning curve for both of us. I spent like fucking full week setting this up. Having people on Zoom helping me, telling me how to get everything work the way I want it. Hopefully it works great. But if something's not working well, let me know right away. And I can fix the system or see what we can do. There's also, oh, that list looks ugly. I put way too many spaces in there. Look great on my laptop. Huh. It's got the calendar here without the, oh, this whole thing looks like shit. I'm just gonna delete this section. But this has my phone number and email. That's good to have. And that is under Zoom hours, coursework, and calendar dates. Maybe I'll put contact information. I can change the name of it. I'll add contact information to this. There's a link to the homework. A couple other assignments to do. And then an extra credit assignment you can do voluntarily. You don't have to do it. If you do, it's extra credit. I'll let you know if you do that one. I usually wait till the end of the semester because the semester is busy. So I'll have it. But if it doesn't show you as having gotten the extra credit for it yet, it just means I haven't done it yet. You can always, once you've emailed it to me, you do the extra credit, submitted it, you can always ask me when you're in class or after class, did you get my email? And I can verify you, I have it. That way we know you actually sent it to the right David Jones. There is another David Jones that works here. He's like in the fucking police fire department or some shit like that over in Hanford. Yeah. There's a little quiz on the syllabus. When you go to the syllabus quiz, when you're doing it, clicking next gets you there. The syllabi are there. You can have it open when you're looking at it. I don't care. You should get 100% on that syllabus quiz. It's asking you stuff like, when are office hours? When is homework? When is this? What is the breakdown of commonly asked questions? This way I know you've seen it. And stuff down here is stuff you don't need for the rest of the semester, but you might find helpful. This one is actually a link to fun stuff. It's famous quotes by people that are not necessarily science people, like Michael Jordan's got a quote in here and stuff like that. People that didn't give up in the face of adversity. The COS Virtual Center is pretty nice. I think we'll have someone in here talking about some. Wait, that's the D didn't give up. What the hell is this a link to? Oh, we're watching this. I forgot. Volume. You all know who that is? It's the Count from Sesame Street. God, that doesn't look good blown up.
You'll know that I am called the Count. Because I really love food. All day. But sometimes I get carried away. I slowly getting faster. Once I start declaring on the front, faster, it's so exciting. Whatever can there I come. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, I don't. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, that's just not it's spiders on the wall. I become in the hall. The candles on the shelf. When I'm myself.
Okay, the same second verse. He's obviously saying count every single time. Because he's the count, that's all he ever talks about. So if you inserted some other word, that's all on you. There's some other, like COS Math Lab has videos to other like topics related to this, especially like review for like. If you're looking at exponents and stuff like that, there's some good stuff. Professor Leonard is a very popular person on YouTube for teaching mathematics. He looks a little like fucking Superman with a little fucking curl and, you know, like I think more women than men like him. But he does teach well. And he's got a whole sequence of all like the math courses there. And Desma, I'll link to Desma's. I'll be using that in this class once in a while. It's a great way to check graphing and stuff when we get to graphing. Other than that, I think I've hit everything. Do you have any questions? Then get the fuck out. Oh, wait, no. I gotta do roll. Holy crap, I almost did not do roll. Look at this scrub up here. All right. If I fuck up your name, please correct me now. Don't let me be an asshole for 16 weeks and then tell me I said it wrong. Lauren Christmas. Oh, goodness. Hi, Lauren. Roberto, I know you. Michelle.
Here.
Hi, Michelle. That pen isn't working. Let's come over here and do this one. Ricardo. Dalton? Did I say that right?
Yep.
I don't see James. Is James in here? No, he did. He lives in Hanford. I know he does. All right. Fuck. There it is. No. Jennifer.
Here.
Hi, Jennifer. Christian. Hi, Christian. Madeline.
Here.
Philippe. Here. Dulce.
Here.
Is that right? Okay. Garrison?
Here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Maria. That's a hard one. Ethan. Arcia.
Right.
Did you not think you were the first Ethan?
I know there's two in the class. Like you.
There is not. Apparently the other Ethan dropped before. Why did you think there was two Ethans?
I don't know. I saw in the classroom.
You guys can see the other, who else is in it? That's neat. They must have dropped in the last 24 hours or something like that. Jose Jimenez. Davis.
Here.
Sydney Martinez. Jordan Mitchell. Bueller. Have you guys seen Ferris Bueller? It's a good flick. Megan.
Here.
Hi, Megan. Blake.
Yeah.
Where? Hi, Blake. Angel.
Here.
That's one of those names I don't know if a guy or girl's gonna answer. I've had 3 angels in a class once. And one male, 2 female. Like, you never know. It's one of those names you just, where the fuck is Jimmy? Jimmy, are you hiding in here? Jimmy didn't show up. All right, you get the fuck out. That's my sign off. That's my Jones way of saying class is over. Have a good day. I'll see you guys on Thursday.
Is there a way? Like,